Hey there, how are you doing? It's great to see you. Happy May. I am kicking off something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and that is a vlog. I've really wanted to get into doing some vlogs and just coming in your inbox and checking with you. So we are starting that. It's May, and the theme of the month is priorities. I'm going to tell you a few tips that I have for you about May and priorities. And I just want to say, this is, you are in our community by being on our mailing list. And if you ever don't want to receive these emails, just unsubscribe. I won't take it personally. Trust me. It's okay. We only want to be talking to you if it's something you really want to be hearing. So just know that. So let's start with a couple of announcements. I'm just really excited because we're doing this consistently. I'm going to say it to you so I'm held accountable. Some other announcements happening here at Lead Well and Moxy Coaching are, I don't work with people one-on-one specifically anymore. I do that only in VIP days and longer year-long engagements where we're building culture into the organization. How I work with people in coaching now, I like to say I work one-on-one with people in our group program, Lead Well. And so here's the exciting thing about Lead Well. Lead Well's been going on for about 7 years, and it's just getting better and better. And now we can help more and more people. But we currently meet every other week in Lead Well, and we just increased the access to support, which is something I have wanted to do for a really, really long time inside of Lead Well, or is it really always as I've been coaching people, is have wanted to be more available to my clients, almost like real time. There's so many times when a client needs help and our coaching session isn't for 3 weeks or 2 weeks. And so one of the most exciting things about Lead Well that I feel like exists is that we are increasing access to support. And that's really one goal that I've had for a long time in my coaching business. I used to just think, how can we do that? How can we make it happen? So we do that now inside of Lead Well. So we're moving from bi-weekly group sessions to weekly group sessions. Woo! It's so exciting. I know. So, and if you're interested in working with us, Lead Well is apply. You have to apply to participate, but it's very easy. You just fill out a couple of questions. Mostly, we want to learn about what's going on for you. What are your goals, and what makes it a good time to invest in your leadership? So that's how you get started in that process, and then I send you a link to an enrollment page with all of the details, and we even did a private training to people who are interested in working with us. It's an advanced training about how our framework works in Lead Well, how we work with clients to work on their personal leadership, on the coaching skills, because it's really a leader as coach training program. I can attach, I have a great video about that over on Instagram if you want to check that out. Anyway, it's really exciting, and that's how you kind of can be a part of, if you are interested in working with me, that's how you want to pursue that. So I just did a really great interview last week with Shayna, one of our current clients in Moxy, and she had some amazing growth. So if you, one way you can get access to that is for people who are interested in working with us. So if people have filled out that Lead Well application, you can watch this live Q&A replay with Shayna, and it is so good. I'm just telling you, I feel like every leader should be hearing that. So what else is happening? Let me see. We're hiring. We're going to be interviewing and hiring for a few different positions, probably part-time. We'll either go with one full-time position or a few part-time positions, but we're looking for somebody like a marketing assistant, an operations assistant, client coaches here and there inside of our program, maybe one who can also do some sales. Like we kind of mostly are focused on something called social selling and some admin work. So those are some people that we're hiring here at Moxy. It's kind of an exciting time. We have some big growth goals. What else is happening? Here's the book I'm reading, The Big Leap. Have you read it? It's a good book. Riveting. It's riveting. It's so good. So that's a book I recommend. One other fun thing is I'm challenging myself to get on TikTok. So I have a new TikTok account. You can follow me there if you want. You know something interesting I learned? There are 689 million people on TikTok. What? 50% of those? No, more than 50% of those people are, okay, no. Yeah, 50% of those people are 30 years and older. I have some colleagues in the coaching business that offer hybrid models like I do, where we have a group and you pay for coaching and the development all in one. And they've met some really great clients on there. So I'm giving it an experiment to push myself out of my comfort zone. Another thing that's happening, this is a vision board that I made last year. And the reason I'm showing it to you is because I volunteer to do a vision board class once a year at a folk school around here called the Marine Mills Folk School. Check it out if you're in the area. And it's really fun. And somebody from an organization in the metro area saw that and was like, oh my gosh, we could do that for our team. And so they called me, this really cool company called Best Care. And they called me and were like, hey, would you do a team building workshop for us around vision boarding? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, this will be kind of fun for them. It was flipping transformational. They had an amazing time. So if they have a culture crew at Best Care that decides events for the community there. And so they kind of vote on what they want to do, and they alternate between, I think, inspirational and fun and educational. Well, ours was both. It was educational and fun. And you know what? We did it on a virtual setting and Zoom. So we teach how to be very engaging even on Zoom in our Lead Well program. I mean, at the core, what we do in Lead Well is teach leaders how to be more engaging leaders to scale their business and XYZ. So you can bet your bottom dollar that if you decide to do a vision board workshop for your team with Moxy, it's going to be good and engaging. And so I just thought I would toss that out there for some ideas, because people are always looking for things to do with their team. So call us up and let us know what your budget is, and we can see if you want to do something like that. I think that's about all of the announcements I have for you. The other thing I would just say is we're doing some VIP days this month too with some clients, so that's kind of fun. That's one thing that some clients really enjoy is quarterly VIP days, so they can make sure that they're just showing up the way they want to be showing. We do some planning, some strategy. I kind of specialize it based on what they need. So that's happening, and we're going to be back face-to-face for a couple of these meetings this month. I'm kind of excited for that. So let's move on to priorities, okay? So priorities. One of my favorite quotes about priorities is this. It is, it's not enough to be busy. So are the ants. The question is, what are we busy about? And that is a quote by Thoreau. What are you busy about? You know, priorities are so important, because if our priorities are out of whack, or we have too many, which then they're not even priorities, we don't have as a leader and as a business owner, you won't have the time to put the proverbial fires out. You won't have the time to show up and lead your team the way you want to lead your team. So priorities are very important. And I think it's one of those words that kind of gets flitted around our culture, and people aren't always clear about their priorities. So I have like six, maybe seven, six tips that I want to give you about priorities. Before we get started though, this was so interesting. I'm kind of a geek about researching these things. And so prior is the root word of priority, prior. Notice it's a singular form, prior. It means the thing that you're going to do before the next thing. It's like a ranking. It's not all a rating. It's a ranking. This is a prior. This is going to be done prior to this one. And I think sometimes we have, myself included, we get stuck and start talking about like, oh, I have this priority and that priority and this priority. And no, that's not how it works. If I love the old big rocks visual with the jar. There's a jar and you need to fill it up with water, but before you fill it up with water, you put the big rocks in, then the medium-sized rocks, and then the pebbles, and then the sand, and then the water. But if you put the water in first before you've put the big rocks in, the water overflows. And I don't know, what does that represent to you? To me, that represents stuff spilling off of my life and plate that I really maybe want to do, but now it's a problem because now I've got a mess and I'm not living as intentionally as I want to be living. That's what it represents to me. So here's one of the things that we do with our clients, and we're going to give this to you as a gift in our community. We have them think about what their top 5 values are in their life right now. And we have a really cool tool. Some of you might already even have it. Some of you have been past clients, so you have it that way. And it's called a values sort. Now, maybe some of you have done this. If not, we have this for you. And it's nice to measure your priorities on your values. So if you first say, what are my values? What are my guiding principles? What's really important to me? And then you hold your priorities up next to that, it's a game changer. It gets you in alignment. We like to think about that as getting in alignment. And that's really, really key. So that's tip 1. Use your values to get your priorities straight. Tip 2. One of my fun clients, Brooke, if you're watching this, she used to talk about her energy balloons, and I think she still talks about them to this day, but I always talk about this now, this analogy for clients. I want you to think about your energy like 10 balloons. And when you pop one on something that's not a priority, you don't have as much energy balloons left for the other priorities. So those energy balloons are something that's kind of nice to think about. Anything you say yes to means that you're going to have less energy for all the other stuff, and that's no fun. Energy balloons, tip 2. Tip 3, rhythms. Find rhythms around your priorities because your rhythms kind of work together, and we all sort of have these daily rhythms that I think are really important. So I like to find, if something's a priority, I like to think about how that's going to fit into my rhythm of my day. And I can thank Chris Miller for that line if he happens to watch this. Oh, maybe I only have 5. Okay, so number 4. There's this book I read once by Lisa Turkhurst called The Best Yes. Now here's the concept. You could say yes to all kinds of things, but what's your best yes? Today, this week, this month, which is your best yes? So that concept is so good. I like to kind of think about that when I'm doing priorities and remember that if I get stuck, what are the things I need to say no, small no's to, so I can give my best yes? Because I could say yes over here, but is it really my best? So ask yourself that. Let's see. So that was number 4. This is number 5, and this is more of like the Jen crazy time hack. One of the things I will do when I start to feel like my priorities may have gotten out of whack, or if I'm feeling frantic and a lack of contentment, I will do a time audit. Because when my time gets out of whack, or my priorities get out of whack, it's usually because I've ranked some things as a priority that really shouldn't be a priority, or I've got too many. And so I have to evaluate what I'm busy about. And so by doing a time audit and assessing first, at the beginning of the week, I assess, okay, I think I'm going to take all of this amount of time for everything, and my whole calendar is blocked out. And then at the end of the week, I look at what I actually did. So I write in there what I actually spent time on, and I keep a log of it, and I compare. And I do that because we need motivation to make change, you see. So if you don't have the motivation, you won't do it. So I do that so I have motivation to go, oh, I can't volunteer for the parent PTA thing because I won't do as good of a job as I want to do on this business thing that I've committed to, and I paid money for it, so I can't do that. So it gives me sort of like the grounds to say, no, I can't do that. I will do it next time, perhaps, but no thank you, not today. I love that. Isn't it good? The other thing I think about priorities, are just, there's a few questions to ask yourself. So maybe we could call this a bonus tip. I was just writing down, like, what do I ask myself around priorities? Well, what's essential right now? Because there's always a season. So what's essential right now? What do I want to nurture to grow? Like, what needs nurturing and what really doesn't? What's good enough? You know, sometimes I have this quotes right here: aim for success, not perfection. I think sometimes we get stuck in perfection seeking instead of just having a successful, like having, hey, that's successful. It's good enough. I don't need to get it like perfect. I just want to have it where it's at. Here's another thing I ask about priorities. What makes me feel alive? What is life-giving? That's a good one. And then lastly, I have to be a priority, like my self-care. Am I willing to put myself first? That's a tough one for a lot of people. So many people talk about that. But I want you to think about it like this. Self-care, or even being selfish with the care of yourself, is about taking responsibility to get your needs met. Nobody is going to do that for you. Nobody is going to read your mind and meet your needs for you. So it's about taking responsibility and getting those needs met. So that's kind of what we got for you today. There's a few links of what some other organizations are talking about priorities and kind of well-being, and what's happening here at Moxy and Lead Well. I would love to stay connected with you. We are going to have another interview with a client in May. I don't have it set up yet, so I'll be sure to let you know what that date is, but we are going to confirm that up. Maybe by the filming of this, we will have that. That would be a good plan, huh? Here's what I want to leave you with. It's a quote from Gandhi. Priorities. It's not just words. Action expresses your priorities. Have a beautiful